Hello and welcome to the customary Yuletide video. So this year I decided to do something a bit different, and we're going to go down a land rabbit hole. So I've sort of mentioned about doing this video for quite a while, and then I decided, I think at some point in a previous video, that it would be good to do as a Christmas video. So this is my Christmas video. This isn't going to be the only land centric video that I do, I suspect. We'll see how far we get. So what I have in front of me is one of those, I don't even know what they're called now, the holiday gift box. And it's full of land. This isn't the only one that I have. I have a couple of others actually, and what I thought I'd do in this video is just go through and look at some fancy land artwork. We're going to go back to Ice Age, and we're just going to work our way through this box, see how far we get. Like I said, with this video, it's just going to take as long as it needs to take, and if I find the video's dragging on too long, then I will do a second video, maybe later on in December. I'm also planning on doing the usual sort of deck building video that I tend to do over Christmas as a supplement, and so I've got some of these, and I've got 6 packs of that, and I'm going to do a deck building video at some time before the end of December as well. But let's get on and do this video, because this is going to be interesting. I know I've had several requests to do a land centric video, so, and there's going to be lots of shuffling of cards as requested. I've got these organized by set, but they're not necessarily organized in order. And we're going to focus in on this a bit so we can appreciate the artwork. So this is from Ice Age, and so as you can see here, we've got, let me start off with the regular land. So let's start off with some plains first, so you can sort of see this sort of lovely watercolor artwork that was prevalent in Ice Age. There we go, and I'm just going to work my way through. With some of these, I'm not going to have many variations. As you can see, I've got a couple here. So these are the islands. Hopefully that's nice and clear for everybody. And we'll do this, try and do this in Wooburg order. So we've got some swamps here. So this is, you know, this around the time of Magic, this is very typical of the sort of land artwork you had then. And we've got some forests here. So I don't have, no, oh sorry, what am I saying? Some forests, some mountains. Getting confused. So we've got a couple of pieces of artwork. This land, if you're interested, would have come from a starter deck, because I did open at least one starter deck. And also, let me just check back here. There's going to be lots of, oh no, that's the same one. So I had a swamp off to the side here. There we go. So yeah, I opened at least one starter deck. have the forests. Oh, that's nice. So that sets us up nicely for this era. Now remember, in Ice Age they also had snow-covered lands. So I have one or two of those. Obviously they were mixed in amongst the basic lands of the set, but at a slightly lower density. I'm trying to think of a good word for that. There's basically not so many if you were opening starter decks. So I don't have, you know, one of each of these. Maybe I should track down a... Oh, hang on, now we've got plains, mountains, forests and islands. So I'm missing a snow-covered swamp, I think. Yep. So let's just have a look at these now. We'll start off with the plains. And we'll move on to nice island there. So a snow-covered island. And then forest and a mountain. And again, it's interesting if you're only used to seeing the modern land artwork in Magic, because this, you know, the early stuff is quite different. Unfortunately, I don't have any land prior to Ice Age, but what we will see is as we go through, I'm going to show you some of the land from the core sets, so 4th edition, 5th edition. Fortunately, you're going to see you know, reprinted artwork from earlier sets, so you'll get a feel from, you know, what the sort of artwork was in early Magic sets prior to Ice Age, hopefully. So there we have that. Let me just split this back up again when I put it back into my slot. So next stuff I have, and I don't think this is from opening any packs. I think this is more from me tracking the artwork down because I particularly liked it. I think what I did was I created a Mirage deck. So what happened in Magic is when Magic the Gathering went live, at some point they created some theme decks for, I think it was Mirage, I think my memory's right on this. And what I did was I got hold of some Mirage cards and reproduced those Magic Online only decks from Mirage, because that was pre-theme deck era, I believe. And I basically put those together, and I think I actually bought some land, additional land, should I need it. So you can see here, I'm going to lay these out in a moment. Again, we're sort of missing the reason why we're missing or would that be plains and mountains, is because they're in the deck. Bear with me a moment. This is a good example of how off the cuff this is. I'm just going to see if I can find that deck. Should be around somewhere. I think it's this one. Oh, yes, there it is. Okay. So as I was tracking down Mirage stuff, let me find this. These are sleeves, so they will look a little different. And So yeah, this isn't too bad because the artwork's fairly matte anyway, so I don't think having in the sleeves is going to spoil it too much, although I could take these out. That might be better. So this is from, as I said, Mirage, and you can see here, obviously thematically these sort of fit in. So we'll start off with our planes. I'm just going to check and see. Yeah, I think there's probably about 3 pieces of artwork in here. So I think that might be, yeah, that might be it in terms of the artwork. So I can't get these all on camera together, but I think you can sort of see there the style of that particular artwork. And then in here, this is the mountains from the same set. You can see these are fairly heavily played, some of these. Oh yeah, this is a classic. There we go. It's my favourite sort of mountain artwork, I think, from the period. And again, it looks like we've got three types of artwork for that. So I'll just show you the other artwork from that, so you can get a feel for this again. I actually went through the whole box, if you like, and originally I think my plan was to do, you know, favourite lands, but there's so much good artwork here. I didn't feel that I really wanted to do that. I thought it was actually more interesting to just go through the box and just pull out stuff and just, you know, get it on camera and get some appreciation of how the artwork sort of changed over the years in Magic. So here's our islands from the same set. I don't know how successful I was in getting variants with this. With some I was much more successful in purchasing like the different variants of the artwork, but you can see there that's a set where the artwork's all the same. But like I said, I think there was about 3 variants here. So these are the swamps from that. Look at that. It's a shame we can't really zoom in really close. I mean, I can go in. Let me just have a go at this, because this looks particularly good. There, and then you sort of see if we can get this one. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? Can you see the little eyes from underneath the tree? Let me try and see if I can zoom. Probably right at the limit there. No, it's not going to do it. It's a shame. And that's about as close in as we can get. But yeah, that's fantastic artwork. Again, from an earlier era in Magic. You can imagine that in like, you know, full art. That would be fantastic. Oh, here we go. This is cool. So you can see for the swamps here, I've got much more variation here. I think I've got all 3. Actually, there might even be 4 here. Yeah, maybe there were 4 pieces of artwork. So that's the other thing you tend to find in any particular set. You know, often one of the particular colours of mana really stand out. I'm just checking I haven't got stuff muddled up. No, that is there. Oh, wow. And the forests had this really interesting style to them. So that's actually different there. So we got three here, three different types of artwork. And I think is that a oh yeah, there we go. Is that the fourth? Let me have a look. See if that no, I've only got three here. So again, trying to get hold of this earlier artwork can be a bit of hit and miss if you're trying to order it up as, you know, singles. I'm trying to think whether during Tempest, what product you would have purchased to basically get the land, whether there would have been, you know, something like a starter deck for that particular set. If anybody can remember, you know, let me know in the comments. The primary sort of source of the artwork of the set. As I said, with these were bought after the fact as singles from an online resource. So one thing I did dabble with, I was buying some different lands for different things, and at some point I got hold of some lands from the Urza block, and I think with these I only sort of tracked down one piece of artwork for whatever reason. Looking at this, I seem to have, my guess is I was thinking about putting something together with the 5 colours of mana, and I just decided to buy 2 of each of the pieces of artwork from that particular block. But again, it's some of this when you zoom in on the detail, stuff really starts to pop out, like stuff you never noticed before, like the down here. Look at this. Some real detail in here in terms of the light. And this one, I just wish we could get in even closer. There's some lovely, it's supposed to be reflections of the clouds in there. Yeah, look, I'm assuming that's supposed to be water there. You know, when it gives you a completely new appreciation when you really start to focus in on this. And of course, at this point as well, notice with the basic lands, they had the, if you like, the reminder text down here. Tap to add black to your mana pool. And we'll see as we move through the sets, yeah, that sort of stuff went away. Oh wow, look, here we go. This is good. Look at that. Yeah, let's get in on that. This is really cool. I should have done this ages ago. I hope you're enjoying this as much as I am. This is, wow. I feel like I almost need one of those like microscopic lenses attached to this camera. And anyway, this is a really interesting style here. This is actually the same artwork here. Just pull that back so you can see the whole card. There we go. So that's Urza's block. So what we're going to do now is take a look at some Corset stuff. So I think I've opened over the years, I've opened a couple of starter decks of 4th edition. And so consequently I've got quite a bit of 4th edition land. These are white bordered, but what is good with these early Corsets, if you've never played Magic in that era, is it gives you the land is, the artwork is reprinted from previous sets, and so if we hold on a moment, let's have a look here. So there's our planes. Of course, I couldn't tell you which sets or whether there was indeed artwork that was unique, to that Corset and wasn't printed anywhere else earlier. So here you'll notice as well, very much of that period. The artwork again has a real watercolor quality to it. And I don't know if we can get in on that again. What I should have probably done is raise the camera up slightly, and by doing that I wouldn't have. Yeah, that's about the limitation of where we can get it. Now, let me save the best to last here, because I didn't really get the order quite right here, so we'll put that there. Oh no, that actually is okay. This always confuses me. I look at this and go, oh, hang on, is that mountain? But no, it's an island. So we've got a couple of pieces here. Let's just show you this. In fact, we've probably got more than a couple of island artworks here. Just going to check back through, because often there was artwork in Magic that looked, oh yeah, so I didn't spot that. Let me just go back to the planes here, because you'll often find, although the artwork looks the same, as you look harder you realise that actually it's not. And I don't know if you can see here the slight difference. So the planes there were some that I thought were the same, but actually in fact they're different. I don't know if you can see that very clearly. Yeah, I'm afraid there's going to be a lot of jumping around here. I'm just looking to see, yeah, they're all the same. This one is interesting. Just going to go back. I think, yeah, that's all the same. I don't even know if you can see this, but there are variations here in the actual text box there, those colours. Anyway, back to the islands here. So we've got a couple of different pieces of artwork there, and then we have a third. So it looks like there were 3 distinct pieces of artwork here. There's 2 that are very similar, and then one that's quite different. And we'll have to see whether they did that for all of the artwork in this particular Corset. Okay. So moving on to our very gnarly and very swampy swamps. there's the first two pieces of artwork, and here's our third, which again, you know, looks like a close variant, in this case, of both of them. And again, let's take a bit of a zoom in on this. There we go. Hopefully this is coming out good on camera. Ah, islands, yes. Oh, sorry, mountains. Yeah. So I just keep thinking about that island artwork, the early one. Okay. There's our mountains. And then the third piece of artwork here. Yeah, these really do. Wow. Yeah, there's stuff every time I've just never noticed before. Let me try and get this zoomed in. It's just I don't know if you can see that sort of mist in front of that mountain on the left side. Come on. Focus. Look at that. Fantastic. Wow. Oh yeah, these forests, these are classics. It'd be interesting to see how much we see this artwork reused later in other corsets. Oh yeah, and also I think these became so sort of so classic that I've often this often makes me think of later artwork where obviously it's new artwork, but it's still got that same look to it, like the one on the left hand side here. That's been, you know, copied in later sets. I'll probably zoom in on the right hand side one because that's got the most interesting sort of detail on it. Look at that. You can, you know, with this artwork you can just lose yourself in this. Okay, so that's 4th edition, and as we get to the later sets, because I've got a lot more sets, I probably won't go through the corsets quite as much, and I'm talking about anything sort of after 10th edition. When we get up into M10, M11, with those corsets, the artwork in there is more likely to be something I've shown you already, if in fact we get that far on this video. I'm not keeping tabs on time here. Just gonna maybe bring up my display on my camera. Okay, so we've been going half an hour already, right? Okay, so where do we get up to here? Oh yeah, we got up to 5th. So yeah, so what's going to happen now is there's going to be a lot of corsets because I don't have I don't think any artwork from anything between, in terms of actual what you would call expansions, from Urza up to the next actual expansion I have is, would that be Mirrodin? Yeah, Mirrodin, because that was the first one after 8th edition. So I'm going to go through these just because, again, they give you a good idea about artwork that you know, I don't have, like I don't have in the original form, in the original expansion it was released in. This is quite different. This has a almost like a low res look to it, and I'm trying to think with my fifth edition stuff where I would have got this. I'm assuming I must have opened, I don't know if I did, there's not that many here, so I think I must have purchased these separately. Oh, I know where this came from. It's just dawned on me. So yeah, I did. This was for that No Hands, No Lands video I did. And because, now it's all coming back to me. So because it was from a book that I bought, which was exploring deck building around the time of 5th edition. And so therefore I actually purchased Corset lands for that particular project. So that explains a lot. So yeah, I actually pulled those out of the binder for this video. Now it's come back to me. So yeah, it is a quite different look to this. I don't know how much these benefit from zooming in. You can see again there's 3 types of artwork. I'm trying to work out what sort of medium that might be done on to get that effect. Let's see if we can zoom in a bit and you can sort of see what I mean. In there. I don't think, I'm not too sure what they would have used here for that. Oh yeah, there we go, look at that. So this is the mountains from 5th. This is all I have, just swamps and mountains. Maybe I should track down some of the other stuff. You know, lands are fun to track down, particularly in the early core sets. I don't think they're generally super expensive. There are certain sets where the prices are you know, mainly the expansion sets, where the price for land artwork, basic lands in, you know, earlier sets is quite pricey, the individual cards. But some things, particularly this is one where you can get that artwork without forking out astronomical amounts of money. It's a good way to do that. Yeah, that is some fine artwork. And maybe there's 4 pieces here then. Wow. That's the difficult thing, is some of this artwork is so similar, it's difficult to see if there is actually 3 or 4, you know, because it's not something that I opened at the time of the set release, so I wouldn't really know. Yeah, maybe there are 4 pieces of artwork on, yeah, actually going through, yeah, so 4 pieces of swamp artwork and 4 mountains there. Let's have a look at one. That first one looks one that's worthy of a zoom in. I mean, all of these are worthy of a zoom in, but I've only got so much room on my camera card, so yeah, I have to be a bit careful. I don't want the video to suddenly cut off. I think the longest I can go on this particular card is about an hour and a half. So we'll see how we do. Wow, that's beautiful artwork there. Oh dear. Okay, 6. Okay, so again, something quite different. So this is more of a sort of pastoral artwork. Again, that there must have been a particular expansion set where that was on theme for that set. So again, we're in 6th now, so you just have to sort of think back from 6th edition what had been released between 5th and 6th, or maybe it even goes back further than that. And you can see again quite a different style here, and also let me see if I can find that. Yeah, so you can see now we've lost that rules text on here. I'm trying to remember what set that disappeared on, but now we just have the mana symbol. We don't need to remind people to tap to generate mana. Okay, so here's a good example. So this artwork now I know goes back, so it's not just covering expansion sets between 6th and 5th. This would go back to it's really, this is tricky to do without having a iPad open. So what I'm going to show you now is definitely artwork from Mirage. So wherever Mirage is in the grand scheme of things. Maybe Mirage was released between 5th and 6th. I just have this feeling it was, before 4th. Or around the time of 4th edition, maybe. Again, maybe someone can correct me on the placement. But yeah, that's definitely Mirage artwork. So now we move on to our islands. Oh yeah, look at that. It's a classic. And the change of artwork there. So yeah, here we have, look, 4 pieces of artwork. Let's see, because that's quite spread out, so we can get a bit more detail going on in there. What is that in the sky? Is that a dragon of some description, perhaps? It's definitely some flying creature. Wow. Okay. Just to rearrange this. Yeah, that's good. Oh, some of this stuff, it's just so gnarly. There's the first couple of pieces of artwork from Swamp artwork. Very spiky indeed. Good stuff. So now we're moving on to mountains. Oh, look at that. Oh, here we go. Here's a classic. Let us zoom in on that. Imagine having that artwork in foil if that was foiled well. And so there's a bit more. Can you sort of see? We're starting to see what would you call it? Like photorealism creep in here. And we notice this a lot in. Oh, here we go. Later Magic sets, I think, in the core sets, the artwork is becoming more photographic in some, particularly in core sets. And then it's in this set, it's interesting to see again, you get this interesting thing going on in these core sets where the artwork is coming from different sets. You get these quite marked different styles going on here. So you can see like two of the pieces of artwork are in one style and the other two are very much in other style. And obviously here we've got, not surprisingly, we've got different artists, but with core sets they're pulling from multiple sets. They're not just taking, say a favourite, set, just a single set, and necessarily bringing that in. It could be all over the place. I'm going to just zoom in on that and see if we've got some interesting detail over on the right hand side that we might be able to appreciate a little bit more. See how it seems as though we can get probably as close as the actual. Oh, there we go. It's about as close as I dare get. Look, just the artwork. I need a pointer really. This artwork over here, this section here, and little nice little subtle touches. Can you see like the green bordering? There's the on colour. I don't know if you can see this on the other ones, but you've got that sort of very thin on colour bordering, actually, on the frame. And when you're looking at sort of card frames throughout Magic's history, it's always interesting to see as you move through sets, and maybe you'll spot it when we go through these different ones, how that subtle sort of bordering effects changes. So you have these major border changes that occur at key points in Magic's history, and then you have these other more subtle ones that sort of happen slowly over time. Okay, here's another one that pulls in artwork. So we're now up to 7th edition. Again, I don't have any artwork specifically from expansion, non-core sets in this period in Magic's history. Well, so how many? Just trying to work out here how many. So this definitely, if this was 7th edition, I would have opened both 6th and 7th edition artwork that you've seen. They would have come from starter decks. I would have opened some starter decks to get these. So this is interesting. There's some quite different artwork on the islands here. Quite different. Wow. Let's have a look. Zoom in on that. So we don't seem to have seen any, I don't think we've seen anything repeating within the core sets, which is good. So that's definitely a good way of getting hold of the artwork. If you can tolerate the white borders on early core sets, then that could be a gateway in. Look at that. Oh, there's another sort of photorealistic type. There's a lot of artwork in this in 7th edition here. Let's zoom in on that one. That's I think there's so much stuff here. I could just sit here, you know, zooming in everything, but obviously that takes extra time. Oh, look at that. Oh, wow. There we go. So now move on to the forests. Wow. Oh, yeah. It's funny how with some of this, again, it was part of a starter deck. You know, I literally have one piece of one of the variants and then loads of the others. It's just the luck of the draw, really. I think when you're opening a starter deck, you get at least one of the different flavours of artwork. And a starter deck is a nice thing to open, but you can imagine now, even for corsets, I imagine starter decks could be quite expensive to get hold of. And from a deck building perspective, it's quite an interesting thing to do, is to, you know, open a starter deck and then a couple of expansion packs or even more of the same corset. You get a nice sort of sealed experience doing that. You know, starter deck, maybe 2, maybe 3 boosters. I wanted to just focus in on that because, again, this is quite different than what we've probably seen up to now in terms of the execution of that artwork. And of course, it's like any piece like this, the more you look, you know, the more that's revealed and you see. You know, you can start to focus in some of the detail over here or here. Okay. So I do hope you're enjoying this as much as I am. I know this can be quite niche and won't necessarily appeal to every viewer of the channel, but I think there's a sufficient amount of people that view the channel that do have the same appreciation of basic land artwork that I do. I'm just flicking back through. I was really taken by the style of the islands as well in this set. To me, that's something quite different than anything we'd seen so far. And again, so that's the case with actually some of the mountains on here as well. Wow. This is so cool. Okay. So I have a few 8th edition cards. So anybody that's watched the channel a lot will know that I did open boosters and theme decks from 8th edition onwards, I think. Well, 8th edition up to around about Lorwyn and Shadowmoor block, I believe. And consequently, I think when I opened 8th edition, I don't remember whether I used starter decks for that. I think it was pure pure boosters. So I don't have a lot of 8th edition cards, but what I do have is rather a nice foil 8th edition. There, and a few pieces of artwork from the 8th edition set in terms of basic lands. Because these would basically be what I pulled from the packs, I'm assuming. And now we get into an era, I think, in Magic where you certainly will see some of these start to filter through in later sets in Magic's history. So there, interestingly, I don't think I'd actually got any forests at all. Unless I took those out for something else, maybe. No, yeah, 10. So there's 10, yeah, because I opened 10 packs from what I remember. But I may have actually gone from 9th edition, thinking about it. Okay, so I have here Mirrodin. So now we're getting in a period where I'm likely to have a lot more lands from that period in Magic. I'll go through these. I'll try and keep my eye on the clock. I've got about 35 minutes left on my card, so let's go through this and see what we can see. So one thing you'll notice about Mirrodin, so this would be original Mirrodin as well, not Scars of Mirrodin, but original Mirrodin. Very, very spiky artwork for some of this stuff. Particularly, actually thinking about later, I'm thinking more Scars, but I think it was same in here as well. It was an Artifacts set. So you can see we have 4 different styles of artwork there, and again with these, we've got something quite different here. So let's just zoom in on this. Now we will. Oh yeah. You see what I mean by spiky. Okay, there's our islands. Again, I'm just going to pick one piece of artwork and just zoom in on that a bit so you can see that. Oh yeah. I think the like the Mirrodin period fiction novels, that's probably about the only Magic the Gathering fiction I've ever read, and I do remember that the swamps were particularly inhospitable. I think I may have a lot more of this because I did. I think this is my chosen artwork for the No Hand No Land project, and so I did. Oh look, there's a foil. Yeah, foiling was a thing. Can you? Oh, there we go. I think we've managed to get it there. Can you see that reflection just there? try and get in on that one. It's interesting, these have remained reasonably flat for foils. But yeah, this is when foils really started to kick in. They had been thingy before this, but they were generally offered as I think an addition within certain theme decks. Now, as we move in, beyond 8th edition and beyond, we're starting to see them included in boosters. And obviously, therefore, in and possibly in tournament packs, I suppose, which is where a lot of this stuff would have come from for this particular block. Now, again, the other thing you'll notice is that the artwork's always from what I would call the lead set from the block, like the first large set. That's not always the case. Sometimes you get artwork from say the third set or the second set. It really depends on the size or the theme that they've got going on as to whether they produce a unique set of land for the later sets. So there may be thematic reasons why they do that. Oh yeah, super gnarly. Let us, and this is a bit out of order, but never mind. Oh no, forest. It's all right. This stuff looks so inhospitable. These are the sort of sets where I get really muddled up when I'm just looking at the artwork. Like this, for instance. Looks pretty swampy, and it is. So I accidentally got that muddled up, and that's why. But yeah, that's not unusual for me to do that with this particular set. Okay. Okay, a small amount of 9th. Again, didn't open starter decks for 9th. I'm not sure even if there were any. So it's boosters all the way for this. Again, I think we're starting to see a bit of repetition going on here maybe. And certainly more so because this is probably artwork you've seen maybe reproduced in later sets. So it might be becoming more familiar with you, but again, these are pieces of artwork that have been previously printed, and you can start to see here some of the artwork I've shown you already. Some of this stuff, like here, this sort of classic piece of art. Oh, there we go. There's another one. Yeah, that one I don't think we've seen before, or that particular style. Reminds me very much of Ashdown Forest, where I grew up in the UK. So. Very nice. Okay. Let's see, here we go. Champions of Kamigawa. So we've got Kamigawa block. So this is all you'll see from that particular block. Oh, look at this. Wow. Very interesting. I think what I'll do is I'll do a slightly different thing here. I'm going to put certain ones to one side. And then I will zoom in on them and bring them across. This is very interesting. It's funny, you've almost got echoes of Ravnica stuff going on here, or sort of preverb. Look at that. There's all sorts of, this sort of floaty look, I wonder where I saw that. Sort of floating objects in Zendikar. Got a nice piece of foil artwork in a moment, which we'll put to one side. Now we get on to the swamps. Again, just to give you an idea of the sort of theme of the set. To one side. And now mountains. Yeah, that's definitely going to one side so we can zoom in on that. Maybe that one as well. Oh yeah, some real classic stuff here. Well, they look like eyes. It's going out. Oh, is that one? What I'm going to do here is I'm just going to pass some artwork from there on camera and zoom in on the artwork. Fairly modern look to that one. This is the only foil I opened. See if we can get a bit closer. Oh yeah. Now that, if I had a foil of that, that would look so cool. Yeah, that thing. Again, yeah, some sets you think, well, bit of water there, that could easily turn into a swamp. Okay, so I think how this is going to pan out is I think we're going to get up to 10th edition. So this is Ravnica, so original Ravnica, and you'll probably be, some of this artwork was either alluded to, or there was similar artwork, or it was probably repurposed. So you can see, there's this sort of cityscape artwork. It's not a sort of artwork it's not my favourite artwork. I tend to prefer more the sort of landscape type stuff. But, again, each to their own. And there are certain, some of this stuff, like, it's just epic. So that sort of thing. Oh, yeah. In fact, the islands ones I find from the Ravnica set are my probably particular favourites from the set. And again, there's some ones here where the artwork is quite different. And this, the swamp there, that always just sticks in my head. Has a, you know, almost like a Lord of the Rings type feel to it. Put that to one side. Oh yeah, this one. Anybody remember that one? That's one that really sticks out in my head when I think about original Ravnica artwork. And as I said before, this artwork would have, you know, been utilised across the set. Effectively, there wasn't any additional artwork released for any of the other expansions in there, because these would have all formed part of a tournament deck. This would have come from a tournament deck. What have we got there? That one, I'll put that off to one side. Is that sort of encroached cathedral type look? There we go. Okay. I make no apologies for the length of this video. This is, I'm really enjoying this. I hope you are. This is, oh, look at that. Wow. There's amazing detail on this stuff. The other one that's good to look at, and unfortunately I don't have as much stuff for that, is, you know, the non-basics from sets like this. They always have interesting artwork. There is something about, you know, cathedrals in the middle of forests. Okay, so just want to make sure I can get up to where I need to get up to. Oh, here we go. It's interesting. Just a few from this. Again, 10 cards. Would have been all I opened, because this would have all been boosters. This was Cold Snap. So I was able to get a foil from Cold Snap, and that's very foily. If you can see that there. Not the best thing on camera. There's the regular artwork. I'm not sure how much artwork was in this set. These are all the, by the way, this is obviously the snow-covered artwork, and this, I think, judging by what I've got here, if I opened, was it 10 boosters, every single one of these was a snow-covered swamp. Oh, sorry, snow-covered swamp. Snow-covered lands. And it looks like there's only like one piece of artwork for each mana, as you can see here. But there's so few, I'm just going to go through this one at a time, even though there are duplicates. And we'll zoom in on a couple. Just, oops, sorry. There's pretty interesting artwork generally in this set. I think thematically. Oh, look at that foil. I don't know how well Yeah, just got to catch the light just right on this, and it's quite difficult with that sort of artwork. There we go. Did I get any? I think there was a swamp lurking at the back there. I just opened just enough packs to get a swamp. Okay, we're getting near the final stretch here. So I hope you enjoyed this so far. Let me know in the comments. I'm quite willing with this to just leave this, as a one-off video. But if you want me to go through, the rest of this box after 10th edition, and then any more boxes, the more modern era, then I will. So what's this? This would be Time Spiral now we're up to. So something quite different here. I seem to have a ton of these, and I'm pretty sure I just opened a tournament pack for this. Let's try and get some of this artwork on here. So another foil there. So it seemed to be hitting at least one foil. Yeah. Here's our islands from Time Spiral. Oh yeah, that's worth a deeper look, I think, those ones. Move on to the swamps. Okay, I'm going to lock that up. Oh yeah, that's pretty interesting there. Look at that. Yeah, there's going to be a Time Spiral remastered paper set next year, which I'm looking forward to seeing what actually goes in there. Time Spiral block was a particularly challenging block to play. Because there was just so much stuff going on in the set. Oh, sorry, the whole block. So it'll be interesting to see how they've managed to deal with that with an aggregate set. Hopefully they've not made a complete mess of it. But we'll see. There's an interesting one to reprint as well and do that too. I mean, they previously done aggregate sets of Tempest, but on Magic the Gathering Online. And I think it works quite nice if you take a set which at the time doesn't probably have the same level of design time put in, and then take the block as a whole and make it a single set. I think that works quite well. I don't know how well it's going to work with a fairly complex mechanically set doing that, where you take block where you take the whole block and wedge it down into a thing. So we'll see. I'm going to reserve judgment on that. So, foil there. Okay. So we'll just bring that back in, zoom it in, and then we'll just finish off with some Corset artwork. Again, Time Spiral block. That was the one I wanted to show you from the swamps. Yeah, look at that. This is pretty nice. Oh, and there was this. Look at that. Can you imagine just a piece of artwork with just that lightning strike and the rock in it? That would be super cool. Yeah, I think that was the one I wanted to look at, actually. Get a closer look. Same artwork. pretty interesting mountain artwork there. And then this one. Look at that. Okay. So now we're just going to finish up with a quick look at 10th. So this is not M10, this is 10th. I do actually have a lot more artwork for this. I didn't bring a ton of it out because I had suspicions that it would just be very similar to stuff we'd seen already. Because it was a corset. It was the first of the black bordered corsets since, you know, the original alpha beta. So you can see here, I think you probably recognize artwork that we've already looked at. And again, it's the sort of stuff that classically we see in later sets, artwork being, you know, reproduced again in corsets. So we'll probably get a deeper dive into some of this stuff. If I indeed do a second video, if this comes back due to popular opinion, and you can see where that's come from. Some pretty swampy swamps. Gotta love those swampy swamps. Okay, so there we have it. So thank you for sticking with, was it nearly a 1 hour 17, 1 hour 18 minute video. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have. If we do indeed carry on with this, then we've got obviously Lorwyn and then Shards of Alara to look forward to. So thank you very much for watching. Have a very, very safe holiday. And I will be doing another video before the new year. But if you don't happen to have a chance to check in before then have yourselves a fantastic new year. Thank you to everybody out there. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.